Okay, so here's something that's going to mess with your head a little. Every night, there are people sleeping in tents, in national parks, in forests, in the middle of literal grizzly bear territory, and almost none of them get eaten. Now, I know that sounds obvious, but sit with it for a second. You're basically a 180-pound bag of meat. You're unconscious. You're lying on the ground. You're making noise. You literally cannot run. By every measure that matters in the wild, you are the perfect snack. So why is nothing eating you? Let's talk about what predators are actually up to at night. Wolves, mountain lions, leopards, hyenas, these guys are most active right around dusk through dawn. That's their prime time. They're hunting, they're moving, they're hungry. And here's the thing. They absolutely know you're there. A grizzly can smell you from 20 miles away. A wolf can hear your heartbeat from over a mile out in the right conditions. There could be a mountain lion sitting 30 feet from your tent right now and you'd have zero clue. They're not missing you. They're just not interested. So why? Here's the thing about predators. They're not built to be tough. They're built to survive. And those are really different things. A wolf that takes dumb risks doesn't live long. A lion that charges at something it doesn't understand doesn't eat tomorrow. Every large predator alive today comes from a long line of cautious animals. And humans? We feel really weird to them. We don't move like prey. We don't smell like prey. We don't sound like prey. A deer freezes when it senses danger. A rabbit bolts. Every prey animal has this predictable panic response, and predators have spent millions of years learning to read it. You don't have any of that. You just lie there, completely still, breathing slow and steady, not running, not reacting, radiating heat and smelling like synthetic fabric and old campfire smoke and whatever sunscreen you forgot to wash off. To a predator, you don't compute, and animals hate things that don't compute. There's actually a name for this: neophobia, fear of unfamiliar things. Most large predators have it baked in, and honestly, for good reason. In the wild, the stuff you don't recognize is usually the stuff that can kill you. So the smart move is to just avoid it. Humans trigger neophobia hard. We carry fire, we carry metal, we carry synthetic materials that have literally never existed in nature before. Even our sweat is chemically weird compared to other mammals. It's full of compounds from our food, our products, our environment. So to a bear or a wolf, a sleeping human in a tent doesn't really read as food. It reads as some strange, unidentified thing that might be dangerous. And then there's the history. Humans have been killing large predators for a very, very long time, like hundreds of thousands of years. We hunted wolves, lions, bears, big cats, long before we had written language. We've straight up driven apex predators to extinction. The dire wolf, the cave lion, the American cheetah. Gone, largely because of us. The predators that are still around, they learned. Generation by generation, they figured out that humans aren't just physically dangerous. We're unpredictably dangerous. A sleeping deer is still a deer. A sleeping human might have a spear. The ones that gave us a wide berth survived. The ones that didn't. Now, attacks do happen. I'm not going to pretend they don't. People get stalked by mountain lions on trails. Campers get mauled by bears. It's real. But here's what's interesting. Almost none of those attacks happen while someone's asleep. And when they do, there's almost always a specific reason. Food conditioning. A bear that's learned campsites mean free food stops being afraid of people. It's not that the bear got brave. The whole equation just changed. That's why a fed bear is a dangerous bear is such a common saying in parks. It's genuinely true. Desperation. A starving predator, one that's injured and can't hunt normally, might override its instincts. The famous man-eating lions of Tsavo that killed dozens of railway workers in Kenya in 1898, both had severe dental damage. They literally couldn't hunt their normal prey. They didn't choose humans because we're easy. They chose us because they were desperate. Surprise! Accidentally cornering an animal, stumbling on a mom with cubs, reaching into a dark space where something's hiding. That gets you attacked, but not as prey, as a threat. The animal's defending itself, not hunting. Notice what's not on that list? A predator that just calmly decided to eat a sleeping person for dinner. That almost never happens. And when researchers find cases where it did, something had already gone seriously wrong first. There's also this fascinating thing about wolves, specifically. They're deeply wired to read social dynamics, and when they observe a group of animals, they're constantly calculating. Who's dominant? Who's vulnerable? How does this group work? And when they come across sleeping humans, researchers have actually watched them circle without approaching, just observing, trying to figure out what's going on. Because a sleeping human sends completely confusing signals. No submission, no dominance, no body language at all. Just a calm, unresponsive creature that doesn't seem to notice the wolf is even there. That confusion? That's your protection. Here's the bigger picture, though. For most of human history, being scared of the dark made total sense. We were smaller, slower, way more exposed. We built fires and walls and slept in groups because we needed to. The fear was legitimate. But somewhere along the way, the balance shifted. Humans got so widespread, so consistently dangerous, so thoroughly woven into every landscape on Earth that large predators just adapted around us. The ones that didn't learn to avoid us got hunted out. The ones that did are still here. And the data is actually kind of wild when you look at it. The National Park Service tracks every significant wildlife encounter in U.S. parks. Millions of people camp in bear and mountain lion territory every single year. Fatal predator attacks on sleeping campers across all of recorded national park history? Effectively zero. You are statistically more likely to get struck by lightning inside the park. More likely to hurt yourself driving to the trailhead. The fear and the reality are just completely out of sync. So next time you're lying in your tent at night, listening to something move around outside, trying to decide if you should panic, whatever's out there already knows you're there. It smelled you hours ago. It heard you settle in. It's been listening to you breathe this whole time. And it's keeping its distance, not because it can't get to you, but because somewhere deep in the wiring of every large predator still alive on this planet, there's a lesson that's been passed down for thousands of generations. Humans aren't prey. We're something else entirely. Sleep well.